Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 0 of Framing the Force here on the Aspect Network. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Batts, and joining me every week to discuss the galaxy far, far away is Robby Weidemann. Robby, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to get this started and kick it off. How are you doing, Alex?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, super excited for this. We've been planning this for a little bit, so very pumped to dive into it. To kick off with this episode 0, we wanted to share a little bit about ourselves, the show, and what it will be, and this network as a whole. So, The Aspect is a media production company with a focus on pop culture podcasts and social media content. Currently, we have a variety of rotating series here on our podcast feed and our YouTube channel and social media.
And as for our show, Framing the Force, we are your one stop shop for all things in the Star Wars galaxy. So, in this podcast, we're going to be discussing upcoming and current releases, past releases, and everything in between. So, keep an eye out for episodes every Friday.
Awesome. And we'll kick off this episode by discussing our own background with the franchise and how we became fans of the series. So, Robby, let me start with you. What are your earliest exposures to Star Wars?
I say this every time I'm asked this question, and I have no idea. I just came out the womb liking Star Wars.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I didn't have a choice. I was, I guess, slightly pun intended, forced into it by my dad.
Good, good, good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was born in '98, so '99 was Phantom Menace, so that's kind of just what I grew up with. And yeah, I didn't have a choice, and I've always been surrounded by it, and I'm still surrounded by it. I hope you had a little bit more freedom with yours.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't really remember the first time I was exposed to Star Wars. It's just kind of like the furthest back that I can remember. I was
Right.
either watching the original trilogy VHS tapes or
Hmm.
the prequels on DVD or reading some of the books. And so it's just a thing that was pretty much always there and always it's a super cliche thing to say, but everyone's like, oh, really captured the imagination and you just were so enamored with it. And so yeah, I remember specifically though, and this is such a bummer because I also was alive for the prequels and stuff. But whenever Revenge of the Sith was releasing, I at the time my dad was trying to get me to learn how to ride a bike, and I was just not. He was like, if you ride a bike, we can go. I'll go take you to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters. And
Nice.
I didn't know, but yeah, would be nice, except for the fact that I did not learn how to ride a
Oh
bike in time. And
no!
so, yeah, I literally I missed out seeing Revenge of the Sith in theaters because I didn't.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, yeah, heartbreaking stuff. I do
Oh,
remember though, I wore that DVD, and especially the special features on that DVD, out.
yeah.
Those special features were so cool.
They
Like
don't make
watching.
special features on DVDs like they used to. Like the
No,
early 2000s, especially those prequel ones, just cream of the crop.
so good. And they also used to have the menus be so
Yep.
interactive, and that's the coolest thing. Why is that a lost art now? Why do we not get that
Yeah,
more?
you just get just a generic like sometimes I open up a DVD and I'm like, oh, I feel like I got ripped off. It's just
Right?
it's just like I could have made this in like Photoshop in 5 seconds and just slapped it on.
Yeah, they're just the poster of the movie and
A little
the
not even
bar at the
like and
bottom.
it's not even a bar that matches the theme.
No, it's just
It's
the
the
most
generic.
generic looking. Oh,
Mhm.
it's so frustrating. It's bring back good DVD menus and
Yeah.
special features. Come on, please. But yeah, I watched the special features for that all the time. I just thought it was so cool. I think those special features and the special features for the Dark Knight, Batman Begins and the Dark Knight and stuff, were the
Mhm.
first time I remember thinking about uh, the people behind the camera, the fact that movies are made by people
Yep.
type thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, and being interested in that sort of thing, and
That's how I'm on the career path I'm on because of the Phantom Menace documentary and all
right,
the other
yeah,
ones.
it's a really cool thing to realize that and then become interested in that and sort of start to explore that more. So yeah, I think those are definitely some real core memories. I also did you I think the books were literally just Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, but there was this 2-pack of hardcover books that they sold. I don't even know when. I read them when I was 10 or 11 or
I
something.
can't think of them off the top of my head.
I'll have to find them and send you a picture of them, but I don't have them anymore, which hurts a little bit. But I remember I straight up I have a super vivid memory of reading the Obi-Wan one in the
Mhm.
DMV, like waiting with my dad because he was like doing something, and like I just remember like reading that book, and like there was also
Is it like a picture book or just like a just
no, it's
words?
like an
An
actual yeah,
actual
like
book,
a
yeah.
full novel, yeah, and
Good for
then
you at 10. Whew.
there was I say 10 because I feel like I don't think I was
That's okay.
older
I
than
didn't start reading until I was like in college, 20, over my
that.
20. I barely know how to read still.
But like there was that one, and then there was also this series of Obi-Wan books that were like they were like 100 pages or something probably,
Mhm.
and there was like I want to say there's like 13 books in that series probably, and I remember going through like one of those books a day, like whenever I was reading them, because like I was just like so like into
Yeah.
it. Um, but yeah, Star Wars is just one of those things that's like always there. And we're gonna fight about this some, I know, because for me, the fall and like winter is like when my like Star Wars season kicks in, like and feeling kicks in for me because
Uh-huh.
of like being
Yeah.
conditioned for those from those December releases, like
I
with the sequels.
respectfully disagree, but
It's so good. It's so perfect for the holiday season. It's so good.
you got like Harry Potter or something else for that.
I mean, and I understand the counter argument is like May the 4th. So like
It's not.
and
It's not, like that is like my like cherry on top of the
that's the
counter
trump
argument.
card. Like
That's
you
not even.
can't.
That's not even. But like that's not even my first go. Like that is my like last resort if I gotta pull it out. But like
Mhm.
I could make so many. I could go on for a while about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's so good. To be honest, though, I mean, all year
All
round,
year round, exactly.
Star Wars season.
Yeah,
Honestly,
absolutely. It doesn't
it's
turn
good.
off.
So yeah, I mean, so your favorite's obviously the Phantom Menace, which
No,
I think no,
no, it's Empire.
right? I knew that. You're just the biggest Phantom Menace defender of all time.
Yeah, you'll never find someone who loves the Phantom Menace more than me, even though he won't say it's his favorite film. But man, does it sometimes make me want to say it.
Yeah, that's fair. I go back and forth between what I think is my favorite of the bunch. It's either The Last Jedi or Rogue One, depending on the day.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I
Rogue
can
One's
get
the reason.
I can get behind. Like there. I'm never gonna put those two in the top,
Yeah,
and I don't want to. I'm not trying to like trash you or anything. But like
no,
I can definitely like understand like if you're a fan of those films, you're a massive fan of those films, and they're
yeah.
beautiful films. Like they're as like an actual just movie and everything. Like
Mhm.
they're good. They're
I
good.
mean, Rogue One's the reason I have a
Rogue
Star Wars
One's great.
tattoo, straight up, because like I saw Rogue One and I was like, oh, I need a Star Wars tattoo expeditiously. Like,
Yeah,
I need it yesterday,
that
actually.
those last like this is so clean. I'm saying so many cliche things about these two films right now, but those last 45 minutes are perfect.
Oh yeah, it's just amazing. That yeah, that final act
That I can go on for a while about.
is worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah,
Like yeah,
absolutely. The last 5 minutes were worth the price of admission, but I could, yeah, I could.
that's that's true too. Yeah.
It's you're gonna have to convince me more. I you don't really need to convince me on Rogue One, but you're gonna have to convince me more on Last Jedi. But I'm an open
We'll
ears guy.
we'll get into that at some point definitely because yeah, I've
I
had
wouldn't I
many
wouldn't I wouldn't mind a whole episode for that.
yeah, we'll definitely have to do that. I've had many a conversation with friends that are not on the Last Jedi train at all. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I'm
that's
sure.
good.
Yeah. No, I'm open. I'm always open ears.
Yeah,
I can get
it's
behind
good.
that.
It's good
But
stuff.
so let's wind down for a sec, and when we come back, we're gonna start discussing our whole Star Wars Twitter kind of side of things, and
Yeah.
our the accounts we run, and what we do with them there. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Alex. Enjoying this show on the Aspect Network? Then you should check out my show, Philosophy of X. Each week, I pair an X Men character, story, or concept with a relevant philosophical topic and explore how the two relate to one another. Join me on my journey to examine the world of X Men through philosophy. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to Framing the Force. Before the break, we discussed our love and history and how we were introduced to Star Wars and the franchise, and now we want to discuss how we interact with the franchise and the fandom as a whole in our day-to-day lives. Um, Alex, we're going to kick it off with you this time, and just talk to me about One with the GIF. It's
It's wild.
yeah, it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's so fun and you just it's crisp. There's nothing crisper on GIF wise on Twitter, and it's just talk to me about it, please.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, thank you. I always feel very proud whenever I get any compliments on it. Yeah, it's so one with a GIF, my Star Wars GIFs Twitter account, which I'm assuming probably most of the people that are going to be watching this are going to come from either mine or your account. We'll put them that way. But yeah, it's a really random and weird thing. So I don't want to get too much into all the history and stuff because we do plan on going like pretty in depth in for both of our accounts in a future
Mhm.
episode. But it was like a kind of offhanded spur of the moment thing. Like I learned how to make GIFs a long time ago at this point, like years ago, and was just like doing them for random things. And I tried making a couple different like specialized GIF accounts with specific fandoms and whatnot, because those are the type of accounts that like really do well and
Right.
take off as if it's more of a
It's easier to
special
keep
thing.
a focus. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like people will be like, oh, this is a specific fandom that I'm into. Like I'll follow this as
Right.
opposed to being a lot of things. So yeah, I like made it and was posting on it for a little bit, and it didn't really get any traction actually for a while at first, and then I like stopped for had some like life stuff happen and stopped posting on it for a little bit, and then like came back to it and was posting on it, and it just like got really lucky with the way that a couple of the tweets went and like the posts went, and the algorithm just picked it up, and it just kind of like went, and it's just been going ever since. And so yeah, I just make gifts from all of the Star Wars things. I will pick and choose whatever I've done collabs with you now, where I'll be going through and some of the movies as you're going through all the frames
Right.
and like post gifts from those. But yeah, it's just a really fun thing. Like I post on it at least twice a day. My go to is to do like one in the morning time and then one in the evening to kind of like spread it out some. But yeah, I just like pick basically whatever I think am like interested in or shots that I think would be cool.
Well,
Some and
sometimes they're
like
relevant.
yeah, yeah, and like and sometimes I'll be like seeing what the discussion is online or the things that are like happening. New releases are always a big thing. I let myself be a lot more lax with um, having to be like super on it with new releases now than I was at a little bit, because there was literally a point where I was like, and especially the Acolyte's different, thankfully, that it's not dropping at like 3 a.m.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
like there
Oof.
was a time there was a time where I was waking up at like 3 a.m. for Book of Boba Fett and like
Oof.
making gifts at 3 a.m. to be able to post like as soon as I could. And so that was a lot, but like yeah, so stuff for new releases is always super fun. And then just going back and like going through the older stuff. I obviously like if you follow the account for long enough, you can see clearly my biases and like my preferences sneaking in there. And like if you were to look at like I have
Yeah, there's not enough Phantom Menace ones on
I
there.
know I'm so sorry. But like if you I have a folder in my phone on my phone that has all the albums that's all of the different Star Wars movies and shows and stuff. And like if you just scroll that, you can see like
I
based
need
on
to
like
do that to my phone.
oh yeah, it's great. I should have probably at this point like 1,200 gifts on there, probably that are just like Star Wars. I know there's over 1,000, but I haven't counted it on a little bit. It's been a few months, um, but yeah, and so and you can tell by like the number of obviously like gifts in each album, like where my
Right.
preferences lie. But
Last Jedi is stacked. Phantom
Last Jedi
Menace is
actually so
real
like Last
small.
Jedi I know this because I was looking earlier. There's 106 currently from the Last Jedi. I'm
That's a
pretty
lot of
sure that
them.
Ahsoka has the most out of any.
Really?
Yeah, because
That's
like
fairly recent too.
yeah, and it's
Were you doing it like as it was releasing? Was that
yeah. So I was
okay?
doing those like every week I was making those, and I was doing like a
You don't
decent.
have more for Empire or Rogue One?
No, yeah, I actually yeah, you're right. I think Rogue One is
You've
probably
got to be up there with one of those two.
yeah. Rogue One's probably the most now actually. I think Rogue One's at like 400 or 500.
Yeah, I
Probably.
believe
I
that.
definitely I definitely did the most for Rogue One, especially like following along with shot by
Yeah,
shot. But yeah, it's super fun. Like it's definitely a process the whole like how I actually go through and do all of it and sitting down and because I'll make them in batches and stuff and then and go to post. But it's been super cool seeing the way that people respond to it. Like it was funny because I haven't done that many for the Acolyte this
hmm
season so far. But whenever I was, it took me like a day or two after episode 5 to start like getting gifts from the lightsaber fight like out there, and it was cool. Like after I posted a couple, like there were replies being like, "Oh, finally, like you've like
Yeah.
party and stuff," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes people will like message and like request stuff. That hasn't happened in a while, but like it used to
I'm a
happen
frequent requester, and it's solely just Maul.
then. Yeah, I mean, Maul is definitely like of the Phantom Menace gifts that I have, like 90% of them are probably Maul.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so good. But yeah, it's super fun. It's been really cool. It's way bigger than I ever could have imagined it getting. It's really crazy, and I don't like think about it a whole lot sometimes. But then whenever I do think about it and actually like look at the number, I'm like, damn, this is wild to like think
Yeah.
about. But yeah, so that's mine. But I kind of mentioned it in some of my ramble. But talk to me about shot by shot. Like,
Yeah, I'm crazy enough to post every single shot from every single movie in order.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just a labor of love. It started out as a passion project, and it just because I mean, I was like, I can start with the Phantom Menace, so let me see if I enjoy picking apart this film or not.
Hmm.
Because I was like, at least if it's just the Phantom Menace, I won't hate myself if I don't like doing this.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it. I like announced it, and I got like 200 followers before I started posting. That was pretty cool. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
That's a good
But,
reception. I mean,
yeah,
especially for not even having any
yeah.
posting.
It was probably like a week before or a week or two before I started posting, and I was like, that's cool.
Hmm.
So, and I started posting, and I think I finished Phantom Menace with like 1,000 or maybe 2,000. Probably,
Hmm.
I think closer to 2,000. I was like, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it's cool. And then it's just beginning of Attack of the Clones. I'm talking like the Jedi are talking to Palpatine in his office. Attack of the Clones beginning. And there was an
Hmm.
article written about shot by shot, and then after
That's
that,
that's wild. I didn't even know
yeah,
that.
yeah, like, I think it was Screen Rant,
That's really cool.
and I had no idea. I would be like, people were tagging me, and I was like, what? Where did this come from? But and by the time, like, I don't know, within a couple hundred after that article was up, I was at like 10K, middle of like Attack of the Clones, and
Nice.
it just kind of, and by the time I was done with Revenge, it was like 35, and it's just kind of, Elon messed up everybody's algorithm, but
Oh, dude, yeah, it was real
it
rough for a while.
nuked everybody's algorithm. But like, no, yeah, it just kind of, it just I kind of trap myself because I have to get these out for everybody. But like, I want the people to have access to high quality like images from the films, and
Mhm.
a lot of these shots, because like I started off on Star Wars Twitter, just like, you're posting your 4 images and you have a opinion or whatever, or something
Yeah,
stupid to say. It could be something really intelligent, or it could be the dumbest little 4 images thing you've ever
as
seen. I
yeah,
have a range of all of them.
right.
But that's what I started doing, and like as I got deeper into it, I wanted to do different images than other people. Like, I don't want to use the same images. I hate seeing when people post
The
images
same
for
five
Duel of the
image.
Fate.
Yeah.
Duel of the Fates is, and they always post a stock image. It's like it's the promotional image. It's not an actual shot from the film, which
Yeah.
drives me insane. But
Mhm.
that's another story. So I was like, I want different like images, and at that time I was really into crafting these tweets. So I was trying to get like deep, and like I can't find some of the things I'm looking for. So I was like, let me just give them to everybody.
Yeah.
And the problem is I don't have it set up yet. We're getting there. We're getting real close to having it access to without having to just follow it,
Hmm.
so people can get the images. But I mean, yeah, you just stick along with it. But then if you stick along with it, you still get everything like you could want from whatever film, and you file
Yeah.
it how you want to, save it how you want to. Just make sure you press and hold and save it in 4K.
Yeah,
Because
dude.
why wouldn't
Always
yeah,
have load in 4K
always
option.
a little Twitter hack if you didn't know. If you hold an image and when you go to save it and there's a little load in 4K option, press that button, that image will be in 4K, and then you save it, because then you have
Yeah.
a higher quality image. Do
Oh,
that for every single shot by shot one. I I didn't go out of my way for no reason to get the 4Ks. So
yeah.
please save the 4K images.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just kind of, everyone likes it. It's a community at this point. Like,
Oh, it really is.
it's and it brings, like, there will be dead times on Twitter, and it'll just bring conversation topics. Like, I mean, talking like Wild West, like tumbleweeds going through the wind on Star Wars Twitter in terms of news sometimes, and it just happens to be that, like, you happen to catch a month or two that shot by shot is active, and people have something to talk about, and it's cool to give some like even if there's nothing to talk about, it gives people something to talk about,
Yeah.
and it's
It's
still
also
there. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's really cool because you can. I mean, like I've noticed it seeing the responses, and because you'll retweet a lot of them from your personal account too.
Yeah,
So I'll see it like, yeah, just the way that everyone gets super excited about the various moments or like anticipating whatever moments are gonna come up, and then
right.
yeah, specifically about like making a larger conversation and like how it's really surreal to think about having like that level of impact and like so many people talking about different things because like I mean yeah there'll be times where I'll tweet something and the way that I format all of my tweets, I know we're both very specific about how we
Just
format the
post.
main
Yeah.
yeah post things. Like I only do the titles of the whatever thing the media is from. I've started getting a little bit more lax and like I'll say some opinions and stuff now and respond to
Mhm.
people like on my account, which I tried to stay away from for a while, but like still the majority is just like the straight text. But like it's wild to see like I can just post a GIF and that'll spark most of the time. The way that it ends up happening is like someone else will end up quoting it and like their quote will just like
Something.
blow
Yeah.
up.
Exactly.
Like
It's a
it'll
little
just
chain
and like
reaction,
then it ends up
domino effect.
being like a trending topic and there's like so many people just talking about the one thing and it's just really like surreal to see honestly and really cool to
Yeah.
see. I'm like
No.
oh like whatever is trending now and it's because I posted this one thing. Like it's crazy.
Like I follow like shot by shot's 100% neutral, and I follow like the only account I follow is me, just so I people don't read the bio. They're like, oh, who is he following? And like just so like like who's
Yeah.
running the account, so I like interact with you because it's neutral. So I do all of the all the opinions are mine. Like shot by shot is just a host for these
Hmm.
images,
Yeah.
and if you want to hear what I have to say about it, then you'll see it. I
Yeah on your
guess I don't.
personal yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it from me,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's really cool just to see you can have people talk about something out of nothing and also the smallest things out of nothing. Like
Hmm.
I'm towards the end of Return of the Jedi now, and just like I think it was yesterday, there was a shot right when the Battle of Endor starts and Han is going to pick up his blaster from the ground.
Yeah.
And you don't see it in real time because it happens too fast because the camera's following him back up
Back up.
after he's picking up the gun. But in the shot by shot format, because I posted a frame of it because it was clear enough, and I was like, oh, I gotta post this one.
Hmm.
Um, there's two DL-44s on the ground.
That's wild.
Yeah, there's like literally right next to each other. I don't know if it was for Harrison to pick one up quicker or easier. Like
Just like
who
whichever one he could get
who
to.
is on that in that battle with another DL-44? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know how common it was in the Alliance. It could be. I don't know. I'm not very good on my armor and gun stuff
Yeah.
like
The
that.
weaponry of
I'm
the
not that. Yeah, I don't like. If it's related to Sith, yeah. If it's related to anything else, I have no idea. But so like and like little things like that, and people are like, "Why is there two? How did this happen? Like I've never seen this before." Like it's like,
Mhm.
and it's like you're never gonna see it. Like it's not your fault. Like
Yeah.
you're
Oh
not
yeah. Well, like
watching, you're not going frame by frame for it, and that's
yeah.
another cool thing. I am able to find little like just things you just you. It's
You
not even
miss.
a
You
blink
just
and you
don't
miss
see.
it. You just don't get the opportunity to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
something that I know we'll definitely get more into the details and weeds with that going forward. But we talked about I know privately and like before we recorded this that we've seen Star Wars in a much different way
yeah, it's a
than the
crazy lens.
majority. Yeah, than the majority of people. So I'm definitely very excited to talk about that in future episodes. But I think in the effort to keep this relatively brief, we'll probably be wrapping up with this episode and leave you with that. But yeah, I'm super excited to get into this podcast and into future episodes and talk
Yeah, a
about
lot of brain picking gonna happen. It's gonna be very exciting.
yeah, it'll be very cool. So yeah, this podcast will cover a ton of stuff, all of our accounts in depth, all the movies, shows, books, all that good stuff, everything Star
Behind
Wars.
the scenes stuff, whatever was on the mind is gonna probably be talked about.
Yeah, just all things Star Wars. So yeah, I think that that'll just about do it for this episode. But thank you everyone so much for tuning in to episode 0 of Framing the Force. Robbie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter mostly. I don't really. I'm kind of inactive on everything else. You can find me on everything else, but I'm on Twitter at Robby_Weidemann. ROBBY_WEIDEMANN. I just wanted the last name's hard. Um,
No, you're good.
and then you can also find me on Twitter at SW Shot by Shot. So
Very
yeah,
nice, very nice.
that's where you're gonna want to follow. Not necessarily me. You're gonna want to follow Shot by Shot. It's way more exciting.
Yeah, those will be linked down below, of course, too. And you can find me online at AP Batman with 2 T's, and then also at One with the GIF. Please be sure to subscribe here to The Aspect on YouTube and any platform where podcasts can be found. Follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, and TikTok at The Aspect Co. Thank you to Peter Fraser for providing our series music. And again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time in a galaxy far, far away.